Cartoon Network has committed to doing a lot of actual TV films. Not just 40-minute, there's a normal segment, which is 10 minutes, there's a normal episode, which is 2 segments of 20 minutes, there's double episodes, which are 40 minutes, but then there's feature films, which are anything over an hour, and Cartoon Network has done a really good job at committing to make a full feature, whether it be Billy and Mandy, the Powerpuff Girls, or even Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. They've done a really good job in the past of putting a feature-length TV movie onto their network. And while this has been super successful in the past, there are definitely frauds out there. And frauds as in 2-part episodes that disguise themselves as TV movies, just like the latter, but aren't actually that, whether it be because of the structure or because of something else. And that is exactly what we're gonna see as we dive into Where's Lazlo? Camp Lazlo has always had a place in my heart because it was one of those cartoons about an optimistic main character surrounded by negative characters. Back when this came out, it was exciting because up until this point, Camp Lazlo had never had a 2-part episode, let alone a 40-minute special. They usually did 2 segments into a normal episode.
I wish I never said that I didn't care if I saw him again.
So this essentially is a 4-episode segment. The full 45-minute episode has yet to receive an official release. Okay, so the story opens with Lazlo gone. Raj reminisces about the first time they ever went to camp, and it's cool that this episode takes us back to the very first moment these guys came to the camp, because that's not what the pilot ended up doing. We see Raj as a little kid on the bus ridden by Slinkman. He picks up Raj, then he picks up Clam. And the two don't like each other immediately, which is kind of surprising. Clam even tries to sit on the roof. When they get to Camp Kidney, it seems like all the other scouts are already there. They even have a really funny greaser montage where they're snapping their fingers and walking toward them. But it takes us back to reality when we learn Edward is immediately a bully and takes away Raj's book, which is Do You Know the Muffin Man, which is interesting character choice. They give a hail to Scoutmaster Lumpus in his quote-unquote first appearance.
All hail Scoutmaster Lumpus, all wise and courageous leader, supreme
All right, that's enough.
He's kind of strict, but also very klutzy. A giant fruit truck shaped like a banana rides onto Camp Kidney, and it surprisingly has a box with a monkey in it, and that monkey is Lazlo with fruits on his head, and he has a really awesome dance. Of course, this is Tom Kenny, the same voice as SpongeBob, so it's no doubt that I keep connecting the two.
Covered with fruit flies. It's disgusting.
I wish we had flies. Yeah.
Here, you can have mine.
Thanks, Lazlo.
And until I watched it again, I never realized the connection to SpongeBob it had, not just in the animation, but the fact that Tom Kenny plays like 2 or 3 of these main characters. Not only that, Mr. Lawrence is in this too. Mr. Lawrence is Plankton from SpongeBob, and he plays Edward in this show.
Maybe we should fly it back to your grandmother. No, please.
If you don't remember, Edward is kind of like Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this like really snooty character that serves as like the antagonist. He plays a major role in this special, but in this flashback, this is his first appearance as well. He dances for an uncomfortable amount of time, giving a really weird impression to everybody at camp, and he stops right next to Clam and Raj. Scoutmaster Lumpus is immediately sour toward him, but it seems like he can't do anything about it because he's a camper. He asks him why he can't just show up in a bus, and Lazlo says fruit trucks are just more fun. Slinkman shows Raj, Clam, and Lazlo their new cabin, but neither Raj or Clam seem super excited about it. We see immediately that Lazlo is super optimistic and Clam is willing to jump in. Lazlo says that he has a couple things in his bag that actually might spiffy up the place, and after it looks really nice and fresh, Raj is still skeptical about how weird Lazlo is.
Yeah, I guess he's a little weird.
Hey guys, you should see it out here. It's super cool.
Sri Lanka!
I haven't really seen this side of Raj before. I didn't realize that before Lazlo came along he was so bitter. Meanwhile, they go to their first camp activity in the lake, and Clam, Raj, and Lazlo actually slingshot themselves into it, which looks so much more fun than the regular Bean Scouts are doing. And while they're flying kites, they end up bringing out a plane, which is, I don't know how that's on camp rules. The more Raj, Clam, and Lazlo have fun, it seems like the more Edward gets fed up with them and is building this resentment. And it seems like he even is plotting to get rid of them.
Maybe they need a little helpful kick out the door.
Finally, it seems like Raj and Clam warm up to Lazlo, and he even makes them a nice tiki wood carving.
That's us! Lazlo, me, Clam, and a bunny and a gnome?
You know, it's interpretive. I needed a base.
I don't get it.
Lazlo hears the moaning of a bear and pretty much is like there's somebody in trouble, so he sets off to help it. It's a bear that's having trouble. As Lazlo goes out to find the bear, Edward uses the opportunity to tell Scoutmaster Lumpus that this monkey has broken the rules.
Do you realize what this means, Woodward?
Edward, that Lazlo will be kicked out of camp?
And I'll finally have control back.
Both of them seem excited now to kind of catch him in the act. Lazlo tries to get the bear to stay with them in the Jelly Beans cabin, and the bear looks so cute. The bear goes mad, scaring everybody in camp, and even Raj and Clam get fed up with Lazlo's caring nature toward this bear. With the distance growing between everybody, eventually all the campers are hidden out in Lumpus's cabin as Lazlo tries to tend to the bear. But it looks like Lazlo is being attacked by the bear and runs off.
Another bear mowing.
You guys, Lazlo's getting into it with the bear. Uh-oh, the bear's angry about something. Now the bear's chasing him. They're going. Whoop, can't see him anymore. They're gone.
Raj is through with Lazlo, and the first part ends on that kind of cliffhanger. Part 2 starts with all the campers coming out from under Lumpus's bed, scared of the bear attack. Slinkman says they have to do a head count to make sure that all the campers are safe, but this is unfortunately the perfect opportunity for them to figure out that Lazlo is missing. Samson runs out crying with Lazlo's hat and hands it to Slinkman, and everybody just assumes that he's dead. Scoutmaster Lumpus doesn't really care until it seems to affect him, and it turns out it's going to be his responsibility.
Scout manual, sir. If a camper happens to be devoured by nature, the Scoutmaster is held responsible. So I guess we should call hoo-ha-ha.
Hoo-ha-ha?
Edward stands heroically on top of the Jelly Beans cabin to build on the lie that Lazlo is dead, and I don't know why this guy's so positive about it.
But then I leapt into action. It scared off the bear so we didn't take any more lives.
The entire camp starts looking up to Edward as this bear hunter, since he quote-unquote defeated the bear, while Raj and Clam are depressed without Lazlo. They're eating buttered waffles all over the cabin, and it's already ruined once again. Guys, this already looked disgusting. They have an encounter with Edward, who says that it was a really sad thing to see him be eaten, but he doesn't look sad.
It's so sad about Lazlo, isn't it? I'll never forget the moment that black bear dragged him away.
And mentions it was a black bear, but Clam and Raj know it was a brown bear. They come to the realization that Edward is probably lying.
Edward's a liar!
That is right, Clam. He's a liar. He never saw anything.
So they sneak off to find Lazlo and help him out. The next day, when they're doing a head count again, Slinkman checks where everybody is, and it turns out that Raj and Clam are now also missing. Everybody freaks out once again, and Edward takes it as another chance to look better for himself.
I tracked the very same bear to their cabin last night, but it got away.
There again.
Meanwhile, Raj and Clam go out on an adventure to find him, meeting a weasel on one of those push trains. They go up to him and try to get information, but when they mention monkey, he gets triggered because of that old famous rhyme, the monkey chased the weasel, and this part is actually my favorite part of the whole special, like them going through this giant train track that actually goes upside down like a roller coaster. The animation here looks just really cool.
Good luck running from that monkey.
Clam, that was a little too fun and adventurous.
They end up in this dead-end town with nobody in it, depressed that they can't find Lazlo, and that maybe he is dead. They go to a nice restaurant, and Raj is so disrespectful. He talks to the waiter staff like they're like nothing.
That's it.
I am not going to have my one real meal in a month ruined by some nameless, inattentive servant.
Which is kind of a funny character quirk for him. Turns out that Lazlo is the waiter. He talks to the two campers and is like taking their order. Clam notices, and the three reunite in the bathroom. So it seems like these guys didn't know each other up until this point, and it's nice because it's like they definitely grew their friendship through this. I definitely wish this was like the actual pilot, because that would be cool. Lazlo says he's not going to return, and Raj and Clam are angry because he is the one that made them all excited about camp, and suddenly he doesn't want to go anymore? I agree, it's out of character.
All that organized camping was cramping my style.
You're staying because of cramps?
Ouch.
Well, that and I get to wear these cool threads.
There's a distance between the three, and it's actually kind of sad, but we don't have a lot of time to harp on it too long. Raj and Clam once again hate camp, returning alone. It seems like the camp is transformed into this like shrine to Edward, who keeps them all safe. And the bear that Lazlo was once helping is back. And obviously everybody still thinks that it killed Lazlo, so they're terrified. They run to Edward for support, but he doesn't actually have confidence. He's been faking it like this whole time.
What are you gonna do? Every scout for himself!
But they send him out anyway, and he is terrified, not able to communicate with the bear. The Scoutmaster comes to make an announcement, and it's clear that none of the management understand really what's going on here or what to do. If I was a camper here, I would feel in immediate danger all the time. But it's definitely the perfect opening to how he actually is, but like, this isn't the actual pilot, so it doesn't really matter that this is established.
That doesn't sound very much like a bear hunter.
Until Lazlo comes in, translates for the bear, and says that it's not really that big of a deal, he just needs to take the pine cones out of his nose. Once Edward does that, the bear thanks him, and thanks Lazlo. Clam and Raj run up to hug Lazlo, and the camp spirit is restored once again. Everybody's excited to see Lazlo once again, and are impressed with how he communicated with the bear. We leave this flashback when Lazlo enters the room to reveal that this whole thing, that Lazlo wasn't actually missing, and this was all a part of the flashback story.
Do we have to do this every time I go to the latrine?
But we love you!
You guys didn't tell that bear story again, did you?
Definitely one of those, and it was all a dream stories, which isn't super exciting. Now, I know I sound enthusiastic during this whole thing, but upon, like, really inspecting it, it doesn't really hold up as, like, a great special to me. Like, I'm sure you guys are gonna get mad at me in the comments, because Camp Lazlo doesn't have another special, but the fact that this is all they have is kind of disappointing. Like, I would have preferred not necessarily a flashback, but something that's going on in real time that we have real stakes for, because knowing that it's going to be a story from the very get-go is already assuming that things are going to turn out fine anyway. There's no real stakes immediately off the bat. And it's definitely working in an episodic structure, like it feels like there's 4 segments that continue the same storyline as opposed to one long Where's Lazlo episode. You know, like the first part is them all getting to camp. The second part is Lazlo fighting a bear and getting hurt. Then we get Raj and Clam's adventure to find Lazlo. And then finally Lazlo saving the day. When really it should have been like, we could have kept some of those flashback moments while it was going on in real time and really focused on Raj and Clam's adventure, because that's the most interesting part of this whole special to me.
Hello again. I'm sorry, but I just realized that I hadn't given you nice folks any ice in your water.
Thanks, Lazlo.
No problem, Clam.
The Edward storyline is really cool, but it could have built up to something more, like the entire camp being at risk more than just a bear. Like maybe we could have actually thought that they were in danger as opposed to like, oh, that bear was nice in the first episode, why would he go rampant now? And that moment when Raj and Clam are with the weasel, that is when I was like, okay, I am on board for this. But I shouldn't feel that way 30 minutes into the 40-minute special. Like it's already over at that point. Imagine if the SpongeBob movie didn't have them adventuring to get the crown until like the last quarter of it. Like that wouldn't be a movie. And it definitely tries to sell itself as a movie. If they were like, it's a 2-part episode, but they don't, you know, like they definitely are committed to this. And I feel like, I don't know, they could have did a better job. Overall, it was really nice to revisit the show after how long it's been and how hard these episodes have been to find. Like they're not available on any streaming platform. I may have found the DVD from season 1, but that's from another country. Like they don't even have any DVD releases here in America.
The monkey Slickman, he's returned.
returned. This is wonderful, sir. Now you can call...
So it's not really a good look, and especially being compared to SpongeBob, which has all of that and above, and while it isn't as quality as it used to be, it's definitely the most comparable cartoon to this. You know, an optimistic main character with his two best friends, and this is just not an exciting payoff. It's a shame that this was like the only one, because they could have done so much better. We learned a lot about the campers' first entrances, which I thought was really necessary, but I definitely don't think it was good to put it in this special. Like, it to me feels like they're trying to cram more time into a 40-minute special because they don't know what to do with it. And that also goes with saying the pacing of this is just so off for me. But I am looking at it as if it were a movie. But overall, Where's Lazlo was a pretty fun watch. I would definitely give it a 6 out of 10, but like, for a fun watch, it was like 7 out of 10. But how do you guys feel? Do you remember this special, and does any of these plot points ring a bell for you? I would really like to know, and if you disagree, don't comment! No, I'm just kidding. Leave it down below. Until next time, everybody, my name's Johnny2000, covering all the 2000s content. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have an awesome day.